Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Tesla Economist. So, I just wanted to try and work out what a kind of a target price for a suitable year would be to help us try and work out what a good value we can put on Tesla today realistically. So, I thought that the year could be 2025. This gives us 5 more years of production. It lets them really get up to scale with their batteries. Basically, I think 2025 is long enough for them to have really grown, Tesla to have really grown into a decent company that are delivering a fairly decent amount of cars. So let's work out how many cars we think they might be delivering at this stage. So roughly, the current factories, when they're ramped up, should be producing about 5 million cars a year. But within 5 years' time, given how quickly they can build batteries, I would say that they should be able to have 3 times as many factories as they do now, which would mean they can make 15 million cars a year by then. But that's higher than any other figures we've ever heard, so let's just be a bit more realistic perhaps and wind it down to 10 million cars. So we think 10 million cars will be delivered. Remember, we have Model 2 at this stage, probably 2022, 2023, that'll come out. So it should be ramped up by then, and that would increase the sales a lot too. That would also mean that we have a lower selling model, so the average selling price will be lower too. Let's say an average selling price of, and remember, this probably by this stage you would have expected the Model 3 and Model Y to come down in value too. So let's just be, I think this is really conservative, but let's say $35,000, which would give revenue for auto sales $350 billion. Okay, so that's a lot of revenue. And well, let's say the margin is still only 25% or so. I'd expect it to be at least 30 by this stage, but let's just say 25%, because maybe the Model 2 does have less margin. Okay, so let's find out the gross profit. Okay, $87.5 billion. Okay, so that's a huge number. And of course, we have this full self-driving. Now, let's just assume still that it hasn't become this amazing thing that can still drive itself. Let's just say that it's still at the current technology we have now, and the current price is $10,000. And let's say I think only half of that Tesla can actually claim, and the other half go to deferred profits. And let's say half of people do purchase this full self-driving at this stage. Okay, so we say FSD price is still 10,000. Profit for Tesla, let's just say, or Tesla, let's say revenue. Out of that, we get 50% of it. Then we have half of all customers purchasing this. So our sales will be the number of people who ordered times half. So that many people, 5 million. So total revenue from that, or gross profit, is going to be 5 million times 5,000. Well, that's another 25 billion. Right. There's 25 billion. Okay. So we don't know how much the energy business is really worth. We don't know if robotaxis is guaranteed or how much it's really going to make. We don't really know how much solar can really make yet. We haven't seen any big profits from this area. We know cars. We know Tesla can make cars now. We know they have a lot more cars coming out. We know they have a lot more factories. We know they have a lot of demand for all their cars. And we also know that if they had to lose demand, they could just reduce their prices a bit, and then the demand would return, and they can afford to do that because they have the margins. So currently, Model 3 starts at 40,000. I would expect that to drop to 35,000 over time, because they just simply can with the margins, and it will keep demand, keep on coming. Plus, they want more and more out there because eventually they will want to have their robotaxis. Okay, so basically, let's only really rely on this income because this is the majority of the income that we know that can come out of the company. So let's just total it. Okay, and these are gross profits. Okay, so and these are rough, and I know there's other things that come with it, but let's just just use it to just get rough ideas of what things are worth. Okay, so we have 112 billion gross profit. Now that is an enormous amount of gross profit. But not only that, this company doesn't have too many running costs. They spend $0 on advertising. So their costs are pretty minimal. So let's just even say, let's just take a guess that it's probably at this stage, maybe we might have 40 billion costs, and that's an enormous amount, and it's not going to be that high, I wouldn't have thought, or anywhere near. But let's just get some numbers. So that would give us a net profit of about 72 billion. Okay, so at this stage, Tesla is obviously still on its path for growth, and it would have been succeeding clearly. So they would. I mean, a P/E ratio of 50 probably is realistic, but let's just say that it's valued somewhere between an auto and tech company. People aren't sure, so it becomes more like a P ratio of 30. But I think 50 really is where it's at. So, but let's say 30. That would give us a valuation of $2.175 trillion. So, given the risk associated with Tesla, you would expect a 20% return with such an investment. So let's discount this 20% for 5 years. That gives you $874 billion valuation. Now, if they achieved this, at the time of this video, Tesla is around $600 billion. So it's actually undervalued if Tesla can achieve this. And remember, this doesn't factor in any of their other businesses. I'm sure the others can easily round it up to $1 trillion. So I think Tesla now really is worth $1 trillion. Even if it took 10 years to achieve this, then that would still be a good return. That's still a 400% return or so, almost, over 10 years. So and I'm sure they can achieve it over 10 years, but it's more likely they'll achieve it in 5 years. And in 10 years, their aim is to have 20 million cars. So it should be twice that anyway. And that is, again, it's just the car industry, no other industry, and doesn't include all their full self driving or the robotaxis. Okay, I look forward to your comments. Hit the thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.